So if you're an engineering student, you already know the dilemma, right? You need these super powerful design tools to bring your ideas to life, but the professional-grade software, it comes with a seriously professional price tag. But what if you could get all that power for free?
Okay, just look at this. On one side, you've got the industry-standard software. Yeah, it's powerful, but you're looking at thousands of dollars a year. On the other side, FreeCAD. The cost is zero. And not just for a trial, I mean zero forever. But here's the real kicker. The skills you learn, things like parametric modeling and design thinking, they are 100% transferable. You're not just learning a program, you're learning the actual language of modern engineering.
So let's just dig into this problem for a second, because it's a big one, and it's exactly what a tool like FreeCAD was designed to solve.
Look, in today's world, computer-aided design, or CAD, it's not just some helpful elective class, it's an absolute must-have. It is the bridge that takes all that theory you're learning in textbooks and turns it into real, tangible designs you can actually test. Let's be honest, employers expect you to walk in the door already knowing this stuff.
And this is the wall so many students hit. A typical annual license for one of the big commercial CAD programs can easily run you over $1,500. For a student, that's just a massive hurdle that can literally stand between you and the hands-on experience you so desperately need.
But what if that hurdle just wasn't there? What if you could just step right over it? This is where a really powerful and, more importantly, accessible solution comes into play.
And here it is. Meet FreeCAD. Now, the name tells you a lot, right? But the definition tells you so much more. It's open source, which means it's built and constantly being improved by a massive global community of passionate volunteers. And it's a parametric modeler. That's a really key feature, and we're going to circle back to exactly why that's so important in just a minute.
So why is this such a game changer for students? Well, first, the obvious. It's totally free. No more financial barriers. But beyond that, you're tapping into a huge global community. That means when you get stuck, and you will get stuck, there are tons of tutorials and forums to help you out. Even more important, the skills you build here are the fundamentals. They'll apply to any professional CAD tool you ever use in your career. And you're not just stuck in one lane. You have the flexibility to design anything from mechanical parts to architectural layouts.
All right, now for the fun part. Let's pop the hood and see how FreeCAD actually manages to be so darn flexible.
So you might be sitting there wondering, how on earth can one single piece of software be a go-to tool for mechanical engineers and architects and product designers all at the same time? Well, the answer lies in its absolutely brilliant modular design.
It's all about this awesome system called workbenches. Just think of them as different specialized toolkits in your digital toolbox. You'll start a project in the Sketcher workbench. That's like your digital drawing board for the 2D foundation. Then you'll hop over to part design to take that sketch and pull it into a solid 3D object. Want to know if your part's going to break under pressure? You jump into the FEM workbench for virtual stress testing. And when you're ready to actually make the thing, the Path workbench creates the instructions for a CNC machine. It's a whole workshop right inside one program.
And this quote right here, it gets to the heart of the magic, parametric modeling. Okay, so what does that even mean? It means your design is built on rules and relationships, parameters. So let's say you design a box and then realize you need it to be 10 millimeters wider. You don't redraw anything. You just go change the width parameter from, say, 50 to 60, and boom, the entire model intelligently updates itself. This is absolutely critical for the kind of iterative design process that is at the core of all modern engineering.
So you've got this cool digital model on your screen. That's great and all, but the real goal is to make something physical, something you can hold, right? Let's take a look at how that actually happens.
You know, the path from your screen to something real in your hand is surprisingly direct. First, you design your part using those workbenches we just talked about. Once you're happy with it, you export it as an STL file. That's basically the universal language for 3D printers. Then, you just send that file to a printer and literally watch your digital creation become a physical object. It's an amazing feeling.
And the possibilities here are just vast. We're talking about designing and simulating complex mechanical parts, things like gears and shafts. You could prototype a new phone case or some other consumer product. You could even lay out 2D architectural plans or run some really advanced simulations to see how your design holds up under stress and heat.
But let's face it, engineering is almost never a solo sport, right? You have to collaborate. So how does that work? Well, this is another area where FreeCAD's versatility really shines. It supports a huge range of industry-standard file formats: STEP, STL, DWG, you name it.
That means you can seamlessly share your work with a colleague who might be using something else, like SolidWorks or AutoCAD, and you're not going to have any of those compatibility headaches.
So, after hearing all that, we have to ask the big question, don't we? Is FreeCAD the right tool for you? Let's try to get a really balanced, honest perspective on this.
Okay, let's be real here. The pros are incredibly strong. It's free, it's super flexible, and it's backed by this massive community. But there are some challenges. The learning curve can feel a little steeper than some of the commercial options, and it's true, software like SolidWorks still dominates a lot of big industries. So maybe the best way to think about it is this. FreeCAD is an amazing tool for learning the fundamental principles that will make you a fantastic engineer. It's not necessarily the only tool you'll ever use in your career, but it's an incredible place to start.
But that learning curve, it is absolutely manageable. Just break it down. Think of it like this. Day one, all you have to do is download and install it. That's it. For the first week, just focus on getting comfortable in the Sketcher. Within a month, set a goal to build your first complex part. And all along the way, make sure you're using those community forums. It really is a journey, not a sprint.
Because at the end of the day, with a tool this powerful and this accessible in your hands, the software is no longer the limitation. The only limit is your own imagination. It truly gives you the freedom to design, to build, and to test pretty much anything you can think of.
So that really just leaves us with one final and, I think, most important question. With this tool at your fingertips, with those financial barriers completely removed, and with a whole world of possibilities opened up to you, what are you going to create first?